Kenya. Tamu sana, yes, tamu sana. Yes. About 2 days ago now, Francis Kimemia, Nyandarua governor, was at Citizen TV during a live interview. And he talked about the deep state and what the deep state can do as far as presidential elections are concerned. So I want you to have a look at this short clip of Francis Kimemia as he talks about the deep state, after which we are going to dissect it and put it squarely where it belongs. What does it portend for top presidential candidates next year? Listen to this short clip.
I want us to exit from this conversation. You've been the principal secretary in the security docket and later secretary to the cabinet, so pretty powerful in that regime. And you have had these allegations that even Oburu Odinga says that we had been winning elections but never won. Why? Because we didn't have the system. And there has been accusations, including from Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka, saying that the deep state has a big hand in management of the affairs of the country. Does it exist from your perspective? When you served in that powerful office, what was that? What is that?
I actually don't know, because when you're talking about the state, of course the state exists.
Yes.
the state exists, but I can assure you it could be deeper than deep. It could be deeper than deep. And if you have, I mean, honestly, if you have two candidates, say at the rate of 50-50, and the deep state, or backs one, then you can be sure that one will win the election. And I don't need to say much, but also there's something else we're also ignoring. And I said the candidate must be credible and electable, and that becomes very, very important. Even if the deep state were to support a candidate, but we are forgetting also the international angle. This country has a lot of interests from the international, and they also influence a lot. I can assure you from where I sat, they influence a lot.
How so?
In many ways that I can't discuss here, but in many, many ways. So if they combine with the so-called deep state, you can be sure your goose is cooked.
Wow. And Governor, it would be interesting for you to enlighten us a little bit, because the rest of us...
It's a no-go zone. So
let me just try. The rest of us Kenyans think that you just wake up and go vote, and it will be 50% plus one vote, and then IBC will say so-and-so has won. I mean, what sort of influence, how does it work?
Well, it works. All I can say is that it works. So beyond that, of course, it works. I mean, the voters vote. So deep state also includes people in the villages. I mean, it goes up to the polling station. So it doesn't mean rigging. It doesn't necessarily mean rigging. No, I mean, influence doesn't necessarily mean that you have to rig elections. But I think we are intelligent people. We know. Citizens are also very keen to see that popular candidates win elections. And if these people are going to, if the preferred candidate is going to continue to ensure continuity, either regime continuity or ideological continuity or material, continuity, or the status quo, whatever is preferred, that is likely to happen. That's why it's very important to have accountable systems, like a very credible IBC, very credible voting system, the voting registers. That would minimize negative influence on elections. But a popular candidate backed by the state, I think it would be foolhardy to assume that you can be able to defeat that candidate.
That's pretty interesting. I think, Governor, I need to look for you outside this studio for more conversations. But Robert,
Yes. From that short clip, you can see clearly that Kimemia is trying to suggest that besides the voters, besides the people, there are also two other strong things that determines who actually wins a presidential election. The first thing is talking about the deep state. And then secondly, he's also talking about the foreign interest or the international interest. Those two things comes out very, very clearly. So in this video today, ladies and gentlemen, I want us to analyze and see in clear terms, what does an endorsement by the deep state portend to these presidential candidates who have already declared their interest for next year. What does endorsement from the deep state portend to their political ambitions next year? And I want us to start with the handshake side. In the handshake team, ladies and gentlemen, we have Mudavadi, Kalonzo, Raila, Gideon, and Wetangula. Those appears as the top contenders on the side of the handshake. And on the opposing camp, we have William Ruto. Yes. So, assuming today, Deep State decides to support Gideon Moi, what is most likely going to happen? Yes. What is most likely going to happen? From where I sit, ladies and gentlemen, I strongly believe that the impact of a deep state will only be actualized when actually the deep state itself supports a strong candidate. In the event now the deep state supports Gideon Moi, I tend to believe and feel that in that case, the deep state might be beaten. The deep state in that case might be beaten simply because Gideon Moi is actually too weak. He cannot win a presidential election no matter what, going by the current political realities in our country. What about Musalia Mudavadi, Kalonzo, or even Moses Masika Wetangula? I still feel that even if this trio of Musalia, Kalonzo, or even Wetangula were to be supported by the deep state, I still feel that they are still too weak to win that election. And I'm saying that because of two things. The first reason why I'm saying that is because as of now today in Kenya, we have two strong candidates, William Ruto and Raila Amolo Odinga. That's the first thing. And then secondly, why I'm saying that even if the deep state were to support them, they will still lose, is simply because of the Kikuyu factor. The perceived Kikuyu factor. You know, as of today when I'm talking, it seems to appear that Mount Kenya, the mountain vote, appears to be very, very slippery. Assuming now the president, or assuming Mount Kenya was speaking in one voice, and then they side with the president, and also with the deep state, and all this combination of the likes of Kalonzo, Mudavadi, and all that team, then I feel they could have a realistic chance of winning. But with a split Mount Kenya, and then assuming Raila walks out of the handshake, then they team up with William Ruto on the other side, the deep state might find it a little bit hard. Yes. What about if the deep state today decides to support Raila Amolo Odinga? Yes. From where I sit, and you will also largely agree with me, that assuming the deep state today decides to support Raila Odinga will win very early in the morning. He will be declared the president very, very early in the morning. And I'm saying that because Raila largely has a support base that cuts across the board. He has support all over the country. So with the assistance of the deep state, he will easily win the presidency. What about William Ruto? I also tend to feel again that assuming today the deep state decides to support William Ruto, and then assuming Raila and these Oka principles all go their separate ways, I'm also seeing a situation where William Ruto also might win the presidency, simply because the Jubilee vote of 2017 will be solidly behind William Ruto, and then the NASA vote of 2017 will be split. So in that kind of a scenario, we might find William Ruto winning the presidency. Yes, we might find him winning the presidency. So in Kenya today, according to the realities, or rather, the realities of our politics today, is that we have two strong candidates, most likely as of today, and the first candidate comes out as Raila Amolo Odinga. The second candidate comes out as William Ruto. So from where I sit, I'm seeing a situation where maybe next year we might find a strong Raila facing it off with a strong William Ruto. Yes. We might find that kind of a scenario. So assuming we get there, I'm also of an opinion that the candidate out of these two, that the deep state will decide to support, that candidate will win the presidency. That candidate will win the presidency. But is there a likely possibility that the deep state can decide to support William Ruto? I tend to see or to feel that that's a very, very remote possibility. Almost a zero chance. Nil. I'm not just seeing that situation maybe happening before 2022 election. I'm not seeing that situation. Because already William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta are in not good terms politically. They are in not good terms. They might be reading from different pages. So the possibility of William Ruto being supported by the deep state is almost zero. What about Raila Odinga? From where I sit again, you will also largely agree with that as of now, if you look at the Handshake team, the only person who has a realistic chance of winning the presidency next year, if properly supported, comes out as Raila Amolo Odinga more than any other NASA or Oka principle. So most likely next year, we might find the deep state supporting Raila's candidature. And if that happens, then most likely we should be prepared for a Raila presidency. I'm very sure about that. So it simply means that assuming the deep state supports William Ruto might win the presidency. If the deep state supports Raila Odinga, which most likely I think they will, Raila will win the presidency. That's the actual truth of things as they are today in our country, Kenya. Yes. And just before I conclude, if you've just bumped on this YouTube channel for the very, very first time, kindly subscribe and also give this video a like. Give it a like. And to those watching us outside of Kenya for the very, very first time, kindly drop a comment and also let us know from which part of the globe you are also watching us from. And also give this video a like. To our continued fans and subscribers here, God bless you. God bless Kenya. Tamu sana, yes, tamu.